In 1885, Robert Miller became the first single white bachelor to homestead in Jackson Hole after spending the previous summer in the valley. Miller took up a homestead claim near Flat Creek in a wide flat meadow at the southern end of today's Miller Butte. Miller set to work constructing a cabin, building irrigation ditches, and raising hay for his cattle. The easy access to water and southern-facing sheltered location meant that Miller's homestead was successful and plentiful. His hay came in so well, he had a surplus which he loaned to his neighbors with interest. This venture became so lucrative, he began lending money and created Jackson's first bank in 1914, the Jackson State Bank. His banking earned him a new nickname, Old 12%, after the steep interest fees he assigned to each loan. With no other option in the valley, Miller could charge whatever he wished. 1914 was the year Robert and his wife Grace moved across the meadow into the town of Jackson proper. They sold their ranch to the U.S. government for the National Elk Refuge. The land was so valuable, Robert and Grace knew it was desperately needed to supply hay for the starving local elk populations. The Miller cabin was used to house the refuge supervisor, and other cabins on the ranch were converted for housing for refuge personnel. Previously, Miller worked out of his ranch as the first Teton National Forest Superintendent in 1908, with the headquarters in his own office. Miller continued to work for the Forest Service through the move into Jackson until 1918. Included in the ranch sale was a portion of the homestead claim that Grace owned. In 1914, Grace and Maggie Simpson platted the town of Jackson with the land they owned and sold parcels to businesses. Later that year, the town of Jackson was officially incorporated. By 1920, the town was struggling. The streets were haphazardly placed, flooded and muddy from irrigation ditches, and littered with trash. No one was paying their taxes since the administration had neglected to collect any. In May of 1920, the town of Jackson elected an all-female ticket to get the town organized. Mayor Grace Miller and her council members, Genevieve Van Vleck, May Deloney, Rose Crabtree, and Faustina Haight. The Jackson Hole Courier reported on the election.
We consider this a representative and very capable ticket and predict for Jackson a very excellent and beneficial administration.
The women accomplished more in 6 months than men had in 6 years, and they were all re-elected for a second term. After Grace's tenure as mayor, Robert served as the purchasing agent for the Snake River Land Company from 1927 to 1929. Before he became opposed to the mission to expand Grand Teton National Park. Grace served on several town boards and clubs, including the Pure Food Club. In 1934, Robert died suddenly of a heart attack in their garden, and a year later, after her own heart trouble, Grace returned to her family home in Illinois, where she died in 1947. The Miller House and Miller Cabin still stand today, reminders of Jackson's early power couple.